as the rain begins to fall, and it is falling, you can hear it, you probably can pick this up on the overhead mic, the rain hitting the new workshop roof. So we've got to the point now where what I need to do is fix the power supply. Now, the story is quite simple. I did a cap replacement on the power supply. Somewhere down the line, something has shorted on that power supply, and I have spent a long time trying to work out what shorted, to the point where I sort of came to the conclusion I didn't have the time to do that. Luckily enough, Syntaur had a spare, so I suffered the import costs and I got a spare working power supply. Now, the great thing about the way that the S-50 has been constructed is that over here we have effectively the area where the voltage is stepped up and stepped down. This is a 240 volt. Well, you can actually rig it to run 100, 120 and 240 volts. This is rigged in 240 volt, but what it means is that effectively you've got the mains voltage, which is this area over here, and then you've got the effectively the low voltage where it's smoothed in this area here, which makes things a lot easier when you've got to change your power board in or out. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put a new power board in, so it means taking this one out. So let's get on and do that. Now I'm using a socket set basically to get these out, because these little bolts just need to be twisted out. Right, so that's the board. It comes out, it's mounted on this aluminium heatsink, which also grounds it. So we just need to remove the board from the aluminium heatsink, 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and then we can put the new board in its place. That's the old one out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera and give this a bit of a clean so that we can put the new bit back in. And we need to put some heat transfer compound here, because the whole idea of this heatsink is obviously to transfer the heat away from the power board. So give me a sec and we'll go and do that. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Okay, so what I've done is I've just given that a quick rub down with a bit of isopropyl alcohol, just to get rid of any other contaminants on it. So you just need to apply a little bit of thermal paste. Don't need too much, just enough. Which I shall now spread. Like so. Clean that off in a sec. And now we can fit the other thing I did was I just gave the screw that screws down the voltage regulator. A bit of clean as well. Right, it's all done. Now the other thing we need to do is we need to just put a end on there. So if you look at this, there is a solder tag that's on there that hasn't been replicated through. Just wondering whether I should solder that or I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the soldering iron on. And I'm going to desolder that wire and I'm going to replace it with that one. Okay, just quick continuity test to make sure it was soldered properly, which it is. So I can now switch that off and move that out of the way. And I think we're ready to reinstall. So the 2 points with solder tags have these I don't know what they're called actually, but they're like grippy washers. So they need to go on there. So there's one that goes in there, and that goes on top. And then this one over here goes on this piece here. Oops. It's annoying when that happens. So those grippy washers, just make sure that the earthing tags make complete contact, because that is effectively how this synthesizer body is earthed. What's going on? This is the burnt out fuse from the short circuit, and this is a 400 millivolt. When you know it, I don't have 400 millivolt fuse in that set of fuses. That's the power circuit reinstalled. So all that's really left with this keyboard now is to get the key bed reinstalled, and I've got a couple more bits I need to do on the key bed to get it ready for reinstallation. So let's get this off the workbench and the key bed back on the workbench. So I said there was one more bit I need to do with the keyboard before I start to reinstall it, and that is to install the connection wires, which are these things. And I had to do a bit of thinking about this, but originally the connector for this keyboard was up here, so that's what the long one's for, and that now needs to connect in here, just underneath. It's just out of view, but that's where it connects into, like so. And then this one connects into here. Just don't want to force it. It should just be finger pressure. That's not in there properly. Let's try again. Like so. So that's those two connected. And that will connect onto the main board. So we'll just hide that wire under there. And then this is the other wire that goes to the keyboard. It's slightly bigger, which is good because it means it can only go in one place, and it goes into this socket here. It'll only go in one way, luckily enough, like so. So that's the keyboard all ready to be reinstalled into the chassis. We're getting there. It's a long drawn out process, this keyboard has been. So let's think about getting this all reconnected. Okay, so this now needs to go in here. Now what I've done is I've just poked the cables through the under here so that they are out of the way, but they will need to connect in. And then I've got to now remember where this cable came from. Might need to look that up. But effectively this keyboard now should slot in there. And then these cables, these two should fit here and here. I've done this right. Ouch. So this one should go over here. Which it does. And these two, this one should, let's try this one first, this one should go in here. Which it does. Therefore this one should go in there. Like so. Now I ask myself, where did this cable come from? And I believe this cable comes from here, like so. And that is the first time for probably a year that this keyboard has had a keyboard or a key bed in it. Next thing we need to do is we need to secure this back into the frame. So to do that we need to turn it over. So I'll do that off camera. Make sure this is properly seated because it's not at the moment. What's it catching on? Rookie mistake. This needs to go underneath that. Okay, I'm going to stop the video at this point because it's getting cold out here and I don't really want to take that bit out at the moment. So what I will do is I will just put this in temporarily. I'll leave you and say live long and prosper. The next one, this will go back together. It will go back together. It will go back together. See you later. Bye bye.